Okay, let's get this thing going. Good afternoon, good evening. It depends where people are following us. Today, it's a very good day and a special one because Nuki is going to host a special guest, first time ever. Um, but without further ado, I'm going to introduce our guest for today. I'm Spani. Theo decided not to join us today for this session. He decided to stay behind the scene and make sure that everything worked out very well. But here we have Mawukle, Mawukle Yebua. I hope I say it right. How are you doing, sir?
I'm good.
Good to hear that. So, just a little background with Mawukle here. We all went to semi school, Denver South. I see Denver South way back. We were just earlier talking about how it has almost been 10 years since we graduated from South High School. Oh man, how's life?
Life is amazing. You know, life is ups and downs, but I think as you get older, you realize that that's exactly what life is, right? Like life gives you good moments, but it also gives you difficulties. And I think for me, just, get stronger with the tough times and then enjoy the good times.
That's good. Yeah, definitely.
I about to say, you guys got it nice.
Yeah, thank you. What's your impression of Nuki podcast? This is your first time. I think I'll give you a floor to give us your comments on how you see everything.
I mean, I love it. Like, I've done a few other podcasts, and, with the pandemic and stuff, obviously, some of them we had to do over Zoom.
Yeah.
But when I pulled in here, I saw y'all equipment. I saw the setup. I was like, oh, this is for real.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
We doing this for real. So I'm excited. I mean, I think you guys have a great platform that you're building. I love what you guys are doing, and clearly, with the amount of time and money you've dedicated to this, you're very passionate about it, which always shows through when you watch people's content. You know, people who are really passionate. So no, I'm excited to see you'll keep growing.
Thank you.
Blow it up.
Yeah, thank you. Excited. No, it's our pleasure to have you here and to talk about the work you have been doing and your life. Before we dive into the main reason you are here, I think it's also going to be a little bit, for our viewers, if they don't get to know you, I think I want us, to get to know who Mawukle is.
Okay.
Who's Mawukle, what's Mawukle's background, and all those great things about you before we jump into all the reason that brought us here today.
Well, I love it. I'm an open book. What you want to know?
Oh wow! I think so. Let's start. So, where's Mawukle from?
Me, I'm from Ghana.
Chale.
But I came to the States with my family when I was 6. So, I'm born in Ghana, but I really grew up here in Denver. Which is why sometimes people hear me speak and they're like, you're not Ghanaian. It's like, you don't know where I'm from.
Yeah.
No, that's where I'm from. But grew up here in Denver, and I've really only known the 2 places.
Wow.
Yeah.
When was the last time you went back to Ghana?
So funny enough, it was when I studied abroad in college, which was like 2014. So it's been it's one of those things where I don't think people understand that you can't just you can just buy a plane ticket and go to LA, right? And you're like, okay, no big deal. You can't just buy a plane ticket and go back home to Ghana, to wherever you're from overseas. It's money, it's time. And so I've had there was one point where I didn't have the money saved. I had the money saved, but the time wasn't right because, we wanted to bring family.
Yeah.
Or I was working and they wouldn't let me take off more than 2 weeks. Right. So I've been pushing off this trip for 4 years now. And at this point, my wife's like, just go.
So you got to go by yourself? No, with your wife?
And that's what's keeping me, right? Is I this point, I could go by myself, but just, my wife is she's Black American, but she's never been to Ghana. Right, so she our whole relationship, she's only heard about Ghana from what I've seen or what my family's told her. So for me, it doesn't feel right to, now that we're married, to like go back to Ghana and she's not with me.
Yeah, I definitely agree. I think you guys should go together.
Yeah,
It's
I
gonna
think
be a
we gotta
great
go together.
experience.
Exactly, we gotta go together. Like, I think there's something about showing someone where you're from and like your culture, your family,
Especially your wife.
especially your wife. Like, there's a whole part of me she doesn't know.
True,
You
and
know?
I think there's a lot that's waiting for her to go to Ghana and experience.
Exactly.
I know as African, they will receive her like a true queen. So I know that for sure. If she's gonna watch, she need to keep that into mind. She will have a blast.
I told her she's not ready. Like, she's not ready.
She hasn't seen anything yet.
No, we get small taste right now. But,
wow. I should try some jollof rice and all these things.
That's the thing, man. Like, she loves the woman eats fufu with her hands like real Ghanaian woman. You know, kenke, like all the food. Like, it's not just jollof. And that's when that's when I was like, oh, this is the one.
Oh wow.
You know? Yeah, so I just feel like for her, she already loves the food. She loves the culture. Like, I just feel like for her, it would be an immersive experience, and that she'll finally feel like a part of her is also home, you know?
So during your period of you guys were dating or getting to know each other, was there a hard transition period for her to say, okay, this is a new territory for me, and for you as well to say, you know, this is not a woman from my culture, from my country, this is all new, different culture perspective, try to come together. Was that how was that process for you guys?
You know, I mean, I think we were we started dating my senior year of high school, so we're like technically high school sweethearts, even though.
Did she went to South too?
No, she went to Eagle Crest, so she went to a different school. And so she, you know, I don't say we were high school sweethearts because it was like halfway through senior year, but she claims it. But I think for us, we've had the pleasure of like dating for 6 years before we got married. So it was a very like gradual process of kind of merging our cultures or coming to that understanding. But I think the funniest thing is like our first year dating, when she really first met my parents, like, you know, African parents, like she came to
that intimating.
You know? Like, it wasn't just like, oh, hey mom, hey dad. Like, no, like we had dinner. My mom cooked jollof, like fish. And I just remember, like, she looked. It was the first time where she had fish with the head on, like, because you know, hey,
with the Flair when it comes to our
I don't
fish.
know, right? I don't know about your family or like your culture, but like it gotta like some people like you leave the head for the head of the
head of the household.
You know what I mean? And so she was just like, she was thrown off by the fact that like we eat the fish head, but my mom was like, no, try it, and she loved it.
Nice.
And so it's just like those things were like. Like getting to know each other's culture and getting to know that part, there's always like an initial shock, right? Because it's different. You know, it's things you don't expect. But I love how like us both being open. Yes, we had the shock, but then we also had like the coming to get to know it and to gradually like it. And now it's something that you almost expect and look forward to in the relationship.
Wow, that's really beautiful. And you know, it's never easy, especially for a parent to accept a woman.
It's never easy. But you know, I had to hit him with, she's Christian. You know what I mean? Like, my dad's a pastor, you know, and my parents are really cool and open-minded, but it was always like, we don't care like who you bring home, but make sure she's a Christian. So I knew that, like, all right, I gotta check this box first before I even say I have a girlfriend. Like, first, before I tell you this,
she's the Christian. That's a major part. So you mentioned your dad is a pastor.
Yeah.
Okay, so we all know in the African community, they expect certain look. Us, your dad is a pastor.
Yeah.
The kid has to be like their dad.
Yeah.
How did you handle, or your dad handle, all the conversation that came with you decided to grow your hair, become like Bob Marley look-alike? I must say.
I mean, hey, it was initially it was very tough. Like, you know, and it was really more my mom, because my mom was like, she's more my dad's really like a quiet man. Yeah. So you don't always know what he's thinking until it's like really bad and you're like, oh wow, I messed up. But my mom was like, you know, like back home it's criminals, like criminals and Rastafarian. So like, are you a Rastafarian now? And I was like, no, like I'm still Christian. Like it's really just like an identity, like style choice that I want to pursue, because I always have like my hair always grows fast, you know, even as a kid. So it's just like, I felt like it was naturally like, why not let it grow? And so my dad was really open to it. Like, we had conversations about, like, you know, obviously they wanted to make sure I wasn't going Rastafari or like nothing like that. But no, we had genuine conversations. And it really turned out, you know, part of it was like being born in Ghana, but growing up in America, I very much realized that like America sees us as like black men, right? Like, they don't see us like, like African. Like, we're black men in a way. And I think just in me also like reconciling my black identity in America, like the hairstyle of locks was something that I very much like identified with in that like black identity. And so explaining that to them, like, I mean, and my dad has a PhD, so like he's also a very like intelligent man. So like talking about like race theory and things like that, he very much understood like what I was going through. So he was very supportive.
Oh, nice.
But he was like, you know, like he didn't give me too much fuss about it. My mom was like, you sure you get a job? Like, my mom was the one who I really had to get over the edge. But I think, you know, like a year in, it was looking good. I made sure I'm doing a bad job now because of COVID, because I don't leave the house. But I kept my hair very neat, you know, like still very like upkept really well. So my mom actually really thought it looked nice. Okay. And so now that she was like, okay, it looks nice, he's not Rastafari, and like I'm good with it.
Wow.
But yeah, no, I think my dad, even as a pastor, saw that like, and even him personally, right? Like, I don't like unlike the way some people stereotype Christians, he doesn't really judge people by like
their appearance.
Yeah, by their appearance, or he doesn't like feel like, oh, you look a certain way, which means like God doesn't love you, or like you're no longer like a part of the faith or the community. So. Because of that, I mean, I had a lot of support from him, which, I mean, in a way, I think that also made us closer at that age.
That's really good to know that our parents are there to support us. But how was in the community, the church community? How did they handle that? How did they welcome you? Like, look at the pastor's son. Like, has he gone mad? Has he gone crazy? All those talk. How did you handle that personally?
People talk, right? Like,
true.
Church people talk.
Yeah,
church people talk.
They were never going to stop.
So I mean, it was very split. Like, I had some people who thought it was cool, who were like really supportive, like, oh, like it looks good, and I had some people who were just like, oh, you should cut it. You should cut it. Like, people love saying like, oh, you should cut it. Like, why would I wait a whole year and then like just because you told me to cut it, I'm like, you know. So yeah, I mean, I think it was both sides, but you know, my dad also like was honest with me to tell me that like, right, like when you look a certain way, even though you have your own internal beliefs, like the way you look, people still judge you by that. Yeah. And so I still had to realize that like, even when I went home back and my family in Ghana first saw my hair, right, like my aunties and uncles made comments, you know, and like, I mean, some jokingly, but some just like, oh, like, y'all doing this now, you know? And so it's just like, yeah, like, I mean, I think any choice you make, people will always have positive and negative. True. So for me, it was just like, yes, ask your questions and I'll answer your questions. But at the end of the day, like, your comments aren't really going to change how I feel about my appearance.
True. And what about your wife?
She loves it.
She loves it?
She said, don't cut it.
All right. As long as she's happy, then everyone else... we don't care. As long as the wife support us, everyone else, we really don't care.
Exactly. And in fact, like, it's to the point where, like, I'll trim it a few times because when it gets too long, I'm like, it's too heavy. Yeah. I don't want it like down to my, to my waist. But she's like, why would you cut it? Like, she wants it to grow like long, like, and I'm like, it's long now, you know. Yeah. So she loves it, but like, because we met when I was probably about a year and a half into my locks, I was like, she's never actually seen me without locks. So I'm like, if I cut it one day, are you just gonna look at me and be like, yo, who's my husband? Like, should I leave this man?
But do you plan to cut it one day?
You know, I don't know. Like, I would love to hold on to it long enough to, they call it salt and pepper locks, you know, where you get the little grays in there. I'd love to hold it on long enough to see that look. But to be honest, like, no shade on Stevie Wonder. I love Stevie Wonder, but we've all seen it. Yeah. You know, like, if my hairline starts to go back here, I gotta let it go. I just, you know, God is telling me it's time. It's time. As long as the hairline is in the front of the head, I'll keep it going. You
keep it that way. I agree. Oh, man. True. But when you started first growing it, have you ever wondered or being afraid to say like you're gonna get judged by an officer, law enforcement, stereotyping you based on your look or your appearances in that regard when you started growing your hair?
Oh yeah, I mean absolutely. And I mean I think it's just one of the things that unfortunately, right, as we talk about America sees us as black men, that like you just understand that anything that is like pro-black or like is evidently black is always scrutinized by police, by people who aren't black. Right. And so for me, yeah, I mean I think I've definitely seen I get pulled over. I mean there's a time in my life where I was getting pulled over like every few months, and I swear I wasn't speeding, right? Like there's only a few times where I was like, okay, they should have pulled me over. But yeah, I mean I think it's just you recognize more that like you're just more visible to law enforcement or people who are looking for quote unquote criminals. Yeah. Right. And so I try to move in a way that's very like not intimidating, right? Or even if I do get pulled over, right, like I make sure that like my license, my insurance, like
it's all there.
Like boom, it's all there, you know, like here in my hands. Yeah. You know, nothing shady, right? Just because, right, like I know without them hearing me speak what their judgments are. And so I try to like do in the way I act and how I move to like make that like the opposite of what their initial reaction is.
Wow. Oh man, as a black man, it's never easy, especially with a drag and all these things. It's not easy, but it's something we are learning to live by every day. So regardless of how we look. Exactly. Exactly. But well, that was good intro. So now, what do you do?
Me.
Yes.
I'm a busy man. I do a few different things. Okay. And so right now, like, I know we'll talk about Flair and Square, so I'll start with that. You know, I'm a co-founder of Flair and Square. We're a men's formal business. We started off with pocket squares. Yeah. We moved to bow ties, ties, socks. And now I'm doing custom suits. Oh. So I'm kind of, you know, slowly growing this business. But yeah, I co-run Flair and Square with my business partner, Fatima Rashad. And my full-time job is I also help run a fintech startup called Income Lab. Okay. And where we're building a software to kind of change how people view retirement and how people manage their money. And really put simply, it's this idea that like a lot of us, like in America, right, like you have this idea of like the American dream is one day you retire, right, like you live somewhere on the beach, right, like you live this happy life. And so a lot of us are so focused on like how much like building your assets, right, like building money so that one day you can retire. But what people don't really talk about is like, okay, when you retire, how should you spend your money to make sure you never go back to work, right? Or like you never run out of money. And so that's what we do is we're really addressing that latter part in that our software not only like, so we mainly work with financial advisors because they're the ones who work with clients. But it makes sure that when a financial advisor is helping a client through retirement, they can not only tell them how much they can spend every month, but we track the plan. So like when it's time to make an adjustment, so say that, you know, things have gone really well and hey, maybe you can spend more money. Yeah. Or what people are more worried about is the market crash.
The market crash, right? True. We all have been waiting for that.
COVID hit, you know, everything's down. Things aren't going well. You know, what do I do there? And our software also tells advisors when you need to spend less money and how much less. So the fact that we can put real life numbers and adjust it. And I mean, I could go into more details, but the like analytics in there is so deep and so heavy that it truly is changing how people are living out their lives when they look at retirement.
Okay. Yeah. So just a normal person like me and our viewer who are going to be watching and listening, how can they have access to the product of Income Lab?
Yeah. So it's really having a financial advisor, right? Like if you work with a financial advisor now, this is something great that you should ask them about. Okay. Right. And you know, folks like us are more younger, so we're still in that like accumulation phase. Yeah. But even for people who are in this accumulation phase, right, you may have an idea that like, right, like not everyone necessarily wants to be like a millionaire living in a mansion? Like,
true. That would be a good
like,
life.
Right. But like some people, like, you give me a house in Ghana, you know, like you give me a small place to live,
yeah,
you know, a few $1,000s a month. Like I could do that for the rest of my life, you know. And so it's this idea that like, don't feel like what the outside world is telling you your future should look like is what you need to like accumulate for.
Yeah.
Right. Like if you can very much start looking at what type of life do you want to live, you could definitely, even as a younger person, work with a financial advisor in our software to help think about, okay, you know, here's how much maybe I could get to one day that would support this lifestyle.
Okay. So is there a competition, or because right now we all know the rise of cryptos?
Yeah.
You know, everyone is kind of involving Bitcoin. Everyone is out there, you know, all those things, investing, buying, trading. Some people are making good amount out of it.
Yeah.
And that is good. Someone can say, hey, I'm doing good here.
Yeah.
Why should I, you know, get a financial advisor? And is there, you know, like a decline into the world of financial advisor with the product that you guys are trying to develop? Like, because now you can trade.
Yeah, you can pretty much do everything yourself. But I think the thing about it is a lot of people, yes, are making money with like Bitcoin and there's investing. But one of the rules of investing that's so hard for individuals is take your emotions out of it. It's like, yeah, Bitcoin goes up, but Bitcoin also goes down.
True.
And for a lot of people, that's when they panic sell, right? So they end up losing a lot of money or like losing their real gains because their emotions get in the way.
Yeah.
So for one, that's where a financial advisor can help you, is take off the emotions and have someone else who, right, like that's what they do every day.
That's what they do.
You watch Bitcoin a few hours a day.
Yeah.
You know, but like you're not really an expert on investing, on managing assets. And so that's where a financial advisor can help you. But I also think when you look at the long-term picture, it's also just the idea that, you know, sometimes like life events happen, not only around retirement, but some people, maybe you lose a spouse, right? Maybe when you talk about retirement, you know, when you take people get Social Security.
Yeah.
But a lot of people don't know that, like, depending on when you take it, the amount you get changes.
Yeah.
And so they don't always have the ability to be like, okay, should I take it at 62 or should I wait till 67 or should I wait till 70 and get the full amount?
Yeah.
Maybe you don't live to 70, you know?
Your money's gone.
So you missed out on it.
Yeah.
So it's just like stuff like that, and the software that we use, that's how we're helping financial advisors. And that's why people work with financial advisors to really help them make the best decisions.
Okay.
But then when you talk about the experience of it too, is that, you know, if you're managing your money for the rest of your life, there's always like pressure.
Yeah.
That like, did you overspend on that vacation?
I know.
You know, right? Like maybe, you know,
your spouse spend more shopping and all this.
We don't want to call out the spouse, but you know, it be like that sometimes.
We're going to cut that part out.
Cut it out. But exactly, right? Like, you know, maybe the spending, you got a little crazy with the spending. And so you always have that like cloud over your head wondering, am I spending too much? Like, will it last? Will I run out of money? Like, am I not managing my money enough? And so just having a financial advisor, and again, right, like having one who works with our software completely takes the emotion out of that and takes the risk of failing in retirement is a thing that people are nervous about. It takes that out of the picture, and really it's about adjustments. Like if you know you're gonna adjust already, and you can have someone who's always looking out for that every month to say, hey, do you need to adjust? Are you cool? Like that really helps take a lot of the stress that people have about managing their own assets. Okay,
that's really good advice that we got here. So, Flair Square. Let's get into that. So, why Flair Square? Why that name?
The name.
Yeah.
So, when we first started the business, I was we only did pocket squares.
Okay.
So
it was pocket squares. So that's where it started.
Yeah. So we really started doing custom pocket squares, right? I had my first internship in college working for a financial services firm. So that was like why, even with Income Lab, why I'm still in like that sector is that's just where my like career experience has really taken me.
And you studied finance?
Yeah.
Business finance?
Yeah. I studied international business and then got my master's in marketing.
Okay.
But my professional work experience was in financial services.
Okay.
And so you had to suit up every day.
Yeah.
Like me, some broke
and
boy
that
from
also
Ghana, you know.
More money to buy new suits and all these things.
Exactly. So I had like 2 suits.
Wow.
that I got to make work over a 5-day work week.
Wow.
So you knew I was mix and matching, like, getting creative. And so I had one. So I just had an idea that, like, if I wear pocket squares, that's another way to like change the outfit. So even though I'm wearing the same suits,
the different,
it's different looks. It's different looks,
different details.
And so that got me through the 5-day work week. And then I had a few managers who just asked me like, "Hey, those pocket squares are nice. Like, where'd you get them?" And so at that time, my business partner Fatima, she's the one who started my locks.
Okay.
We grew up together. So just like in one session of her like giving me a retwist, I was like, "Hey, like, could you help me sew some pocket squares for me? I don't know how to sew, by the way." And so she sewed them. My managers loved them. And so that's really what started off, was just like we had like 5 different people who wanted pocket squares. We didn't really have like a set price. One guy paid us $5. One guy paid us $50. Wow. And so it was like, yo, this like range is huge.
Yeah.
But we had some money and we had a few $100s. And so I was like, hey, I think we should why don't we just start a business and do this? And so when we're thinking of the name, I mean, we only made pocket squares. So we were trying to think of like, okay, like what kind of clever things can we do around pocket squares? And so I was actually in my wife, or my girlfriend at the time, who's now my wife, I was at her parents' house and I was kind of telling her about this idea. And so we were just playing around with names. And so the name like Fair and Square came out. Like that's a saying people say. And she's like, just say Flair and Square. So it really was like the credit goes to her for officially giving us Flair and Square. But really the name just came out of the idea that, one, we really started off with pocket squares. 2, when we started off, all of our pocket squares were 2-sided. Okay. So we also wanted to like show like the one side gives you flair, but the other side is just kind of a simple square, because there was always like a pattern side and then a solid side. Okay. So just like that dynamic really played in well with the name and like with where our business really started.
Okay, oh wow, that's really good. We see you have some different product. And you guys made all these.
Yeah, so ties, pocket square, socks. Yeah, I mean.
So how much? So in a box, like the one that we have here. So if I order or I buy, how much is that box? What is included inside?
So the box is $40.
Okay.
And in the box, so that's kind of where things really took off for us, was when we had these different pieces. We realized that like, a lot of times when you buy a tie or pocket square, maybe you buy an individual. Yeah. But sometimes people are selling like the tie and the pocket square together. But it's the same, like if it's a blue pocket square, it's also a blue tie. Like it's the same, which is technically bad fashion. Like if someone is selling you that, they're not serious. Like your accessories should complement each other. And so we started making these tie sets where, I actually don't know if I brought the full sets, but you can essentially get the idea that like, maybe you have this orange tie, you have the orange socks, and then like maybe there's an orange pocket square. So it's not the same like exact looking thing, but they're all matching and coordinating. And so that's kind of the idea, was that we really want to make it easier for customers to like not feel like they have to be masters at matching. Like you buy the set, we'll do the matching for you. You'll look good. You put it on, you look good. So inside of each box in a tie set, you'll get a pair of socks, a tie, and a pocket square.
And a pocket for $40.
For $40. Okay. Sometimes we'll do a special, and so we also have some of these bracelets. That we have some suppliers who make really nice bracelets like these ones. Okay. So sometimes we'll do a special maybe around the holidays, where we'll add just a pair of bracelets in. Maybe it's like 45. Maybe it's 50. Maybe still 40. Whatever the special is.
Including shipping fees or?
So if you're local, like in the Denver metro area, you can do free shipping and I'll actually deliver it to your door. So all my local people. Free shipping, Amazon delivery. You know what I mean?
Faster than Amazon delivery.
Next day.
By the CEO himself.
Exactly.
It doesn't happen that often.
No, and it's only for our local people. But the people who buy out of town, if you buy, I think it's 2 or 3 tie sets, free shipping. Okay. Otherwise, I mean, it's like $4 or $5.
Wow, $45
for 4 or 5, like 4 to 5. Okay. Not $45. That's like international rates. If you buy in Ghana, it's $45.
Well, you can ship it to Ghana, so.
Okay, we don't do international shipping.
You guys don't?
Not yet.
Okay, and so the website is flairandsquare.com.
FLARE and and Square. I say that because some people spell Flair wrong, which is fine. It makes sense. There's multiple spellings, but yeah, Flare and Square.com.
Okay, so this is really nice. If you can just
I'm about to say.
Oh man, look how nice these things looks. This is really great.
Yeah, different textures.
Look at this color.
More of our newer ones. You can even see like this one's
the
like
Ghana Kente.
One of our originals. You can see even like the two-sided.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Okay. Did you put made in Denver there? Or don't be like my president Trump. He talk about made in United States, but his stuff are coming from overseas.
No. So I mean, so at this point, right when we first started, like my business partner used to sew everything, and literally
by hand.
I mean, with a sewing machine.
Yeah,
but
that's time consuming.
Exactly. So literally, like our business meetings turned from like, what are we doing to like, you're just sewing.
Yeah.
And so eventually we ended up going to like, we met some women at Joann's who like are retired and they sew, so they became like independent sewers. So we get some orders, they sew for us. My mom was a seamstress back home in Ghana.
Okay.
So like for some of the bow ties, she would make some of the bow ties in Cincinnati. But as we started growing, we started meeting other entrepreneurs and other people who like supplied products. And so now we work with a few different suppliers. So we do get some stuff from overseas. We get some stuff domestically. I mean, it really comes all over the place. So it's nice for us because then that really makes kind of the tie set business a lot better. Because then, this supplier has really nice socks, but we don't necessarily like all their ties. Whereas this supplier has like really nice ties. So then it's like, okay, now we're really like picking and choosing. And really getting like create more of the creative kind of looks of it versus like investing all of our time and like sweat into just like making one thing.
Oh man, look at this! How nice these socks are, especially this color.
Yeah,
Uncle T.
We always do orange and blue every line. Shout out to Bronco Country. Gotta support. Our local people love blue and orange, so you gotta give the people what they want.
Yeah, those are some really nice ties.
Thank you.
I'm telling you.
Oh yeah, straight ties, bow ties.
They're really nice one, and but when you got started, this. Do you guys envision that we want to get what is next for you guys? Because you guys started small.
Yeah.
Now you guys have this platform that everyone nearly know about. Flair Square is everywhere. I can recognize it anytime I'm in downtown. It's like, oh, that color. Yeah.
I appreciate
that. So what's next?
I think for us, it's I mean, and you guys know this, starting your podcast, you all have full-time jobs too, We
do. And full-time job with our wives too.
Exact full-time jobs. We got married, we got kids.
Yeah.
I mean, so it's for us, that's just been kind of the situation for us as well, right? We started Flair and Square when we were in college. So we not only were full-time students, but we were also starting our careers. Yeah. My business partner, she's a teacher.
Oh, shout out to her.
Right, exactly. Teach the kids.
I know.
They need good black teachers out here.
We do.
So she's doing good work with the kids. But yeah, so we've had full-time jobs. So I think for us, it's just been we want to grow it, but at the same time understanding that there's we have to maintain our lives and we have to support our family still. So, yes, we'd love to one day this, we make so much money that this is all we do full time, but it's also that realization that that's not where we're at. And we're probably still really far away from that point, honestly. And so because of that, I mean, I think for us, it's just still for us, success is still can we keep managing what we're doing? Can we still keep the passion and the love going for this? Can we, every year at least bring out 2 new lines of products, right? Keep expanding slowly at a time. So, I mean, I think our short-term goal for me is, we just started doing custom suits. So now I'm learning how do you measure a suit? What goes into the perfect suit? Yeah. Picking out fabrics. So it's really just getting that underneath us, getting up to 50, 100 suit clients. Wow. Right. That's a real tangible goal for us. For me, because each suit client is someone we met in person. It's someone we know personally. You can't really sell custom suits online.
You cannot.
because like you may want to do the sizing and all that, but it's never right, you know. And it's just different when you can literally have someone like touch the fabric and then size them up
and put it on and feel the look of themselves.
And then you can be like, hey, the pants are maybe a little too wide, right? Like, so I can like, okay, let me pinch it in. How does that feel? Right. So I think for me is like really building the suit business to that level where we have a good client base, and to where, I mean, like, we enjoy like seeing our clients like come through and like the confidence they get, like they'll text us a wedding or like a business meeting, and they just like, they killed it. You know, they felt so confident. It was great. So I think for me, that's like the short-term goals. Let's just build that, really learn that business, do well by our clients. And in turn, that also supports the growth of the accessories. Right? Because all of it's easy for me to sell you a tie when I know what suit you're going to wear. And then long term, like from that, I think it would just be, you know, keep building to the point, but then maybe hopefully hire more people, like actually build a team, you know, use
to handle more logistics.
Yeah, handle more logistics and really use it as like, you know, I think it's really cool how, you know, people start small businesses, but then they don't really talk about like when you can actually hire someone and like give them a legitimate job that they love, like you're also helping someone's family.
Amen to that.
And like that's not always talked about in our community. I think a lot of times we see entrepreneurs like, hey, start a business, get hella rich.
No, that's
true. And like no one talks about
especially in the African community.
Especially in the African community, but no one talks about the fact that like a lot of times like what really like takes businesses to the next level is finding like growing to the point where they can hire people, like finding talent, but giving those people a great life and a great job, because they will always do right by your business if you take care of those people. And so I think that would be like our amazing, like I don't care how much money we made, but like, right, like we hire like 5 people and we know we can pay them, right? Like it's never like, hey, this month I can't pay you, you know, like it's like consistently like, no, we know we can pay them. They have a great job. Like they have a great life. They're able to support their family. Like that would be a dream for me with this.
That's really good. And I think that's something that as an African, and I think we need to support this dream and these businesses. And
I appreciate it.
Yeah. So for example, for people like us who are church goers, we go to church every Sunday. And you know, being a pastor's son, Sunday's the best. You have to keep up with the outfit.
Yes.
It's like you cannot wear the same one in a row. Like there has to be different look every single Sunday, you know. And the product you offer here, I think they are really great. Is there a subscription fees? Let's say, since you said 40 or 45 a bucks. If I can subscribe to it, like a month, and I'm receiving 1 or 2 boxes of this a month, I think I will be happy because
you're reading my mind. Like that's outside the suit thing. That's like another short-term goal of ours is that, we've had clients who, I mean, are like you and they've wondered like, you know, he's like, I buy new stuff from you every month. Like, if you had like a subscription or even for the socks, because we get a lot of guys who really love the socks. So like, hey, even if you send me like a new pair of socks every month, like I'll just subscribe and pay you like $10 a month for the socks. And so, I mean, it's something we're looking at. We don't have it yet. The logistics there also like we need to figure out because like I don't want to send you something last month but then somehow accidentally send you the same thing 4 months later, right? And so now instead of like going from, you know, we make inventory 2 times a year, now it's like, okay, like how can we make sure that if we're doing that, then it's like 6 pieces, right? So that way like you have 12 pieces over the year. Or maybe we do it quarterly. So instead of getting like one thing a month, you get a bigger box, and it's like per season. So I mean, those are ideas we're playing around. If any of your listeners have feedback on what they would like, I'd be more than happy to have that conversation.
Definitely. I think they have to, you know, because this is something great, especially coming from someone, you know, from our own people, African and African community, which is one of the things that I always say. We have to support each other regardless where you come from. I don't care. But as long as you come from Africa, and we are one, regardless. One thing happen in Ghana community, it affect everybody. And that's vice versa. And the product you have here, I'm telling you, those are really great one. I don't know if you brought some extra bucks here, but I'm keeping some. Uncle T.
Let me know. Let me know.
No, this is really great.
Let me get more suit clients. I'll sponsor the outfits for you guys.
Oh, you see that? Amen to that. I received the prophecy. Because I was thinking, I was like, well, when you are coming to talk about this, I was like, should I put a suit on and kind of,
It's funny. I was thinking the same thing, and I was telling my wife, I was like, should I put a suit on? But I worked earlier today, so my work, and that's the funny thing is that working in fintech and software is so casual.
Yeah.
No one dressed I'm overdressed. But then working in suits is every time is
you have to look your best.
Maybe a 3-piece is me going extra, but I'm at least in a suit. I'm at least in a suit, so I was like, should I suit up for this? And she's like, it's a podcast. She's trying to make me sound stupid. They're not gonna see you. But I was like, no, you don't get it. They record it.
Yeah.
They'll see me. But no, I mean, it's okay. It's okay. I didn't even have time anyway to get dressed, so it's fine.
No, but
next time. Exactly. Round two.
We will have all the suits here so that people can see the texture, how it looks.
I'm gonna do a tie set for each of you.
All right. Sounds great. I'm looking forward to that next time because I think I would love because it's suits are expensive.
Yeah.
I'm going to tell you, suits are expensive. And so you started with the suit. What's your price range? Because anytime I go to store, not to name any store, I do spend quite a bit over $300 to get something nice, decent, a good product. And what's your price range?
I'll say, so our price range is also right. It's a custom suit, so it's out it's still pricey for
fashion
some folks.
Is expensive,
right? But our price range starts at $900.
Wait.
Mm-hmm.
For one piece?
Yeah. For top and suit, jacket and pants,
everything,
and the tie set. Yeah, you get the full thing.
900.
Yeah. And so the reasoning behind that is
let's talk about this number because
you go to a Men's Warehouse or a Suit Supply, right? Those are kind of the main guys we're going after. You buy a suit. Most likely your suit's gonna be around $1,000 anyway. But let's say you get something off the rack that's so there's custom and then there's off the rack that's not custom, right? So you buy it. Let's say you buy it call it 500, 600. Men's or K&G. That's where I bought my first suits. They do 3 for 400 or something, right?
They do, right? And they're not really best one.
But the pants don't fit. Nothing fits, and so you end up. What people don't realize is that yes, your initial price tag was $400 or $500, but you end up spending $400 or $500 on top of that.
The tailor's fees,
just to get the alterations right, right? And so I know people hear 900. It's that is a lot of money. And there's a reason why is that not only is the quality going to be absolutely amazing, so better than what you're going to get at those other stores, but it's literally custom. And so when you're done with me, that's the, your best fitting suit. Otherwise, let me get the tailor to make it your best fitting suit, And then the thing on top of that too, is because it's, and we can definitely go up, right? But you can always go up with nicer fabrics, but at least with 900, the idea here is you got one suit, and so it's kind of back to when I first started. Yeah. But I not only gave you a tie set to go with it, so the tie set's included in the price. So essentially, if you think about the tie set, you already have 4 outfits that you're gonna wear with that one suit. So it's making your suit more valuable because now it's yes, you also you want to spend $600 at Men's Warehouse, but their tie is probably $50. Yeah. The shirt, right? So people don't realize it adds up. It adds up.
Plus taxes and all these things.
So in a sense, you're either paying less or the same amount of money with me, but not only you're getting a custom suit with more styles, but the next time you want a suit, you don't have to go through the whole alterations process again. Unless you just went to the gym and got all buff on me, or something crazy happened. You call me and you say, hey, I'm looking for a new suit. And literally, you pick out the fabric. It's on the way. Same price. You don't even, no alterations are needed. It's perfect. And so I think it's that relationship aspect, too, that, that drives the cost initially. But the customers who come, 2-3 times over, they end up seeing, the better value for their money over the long term. And these suits are so nice that, you can have these for decades. Like you can have these for a long time.
Wow.
Yeah, and you get new tie, right? Like, and we're giving you new tie sets all the time.
Oh, wow. This is really something new. The suit. I never, especially I've never spent. Well, no, that's a lie. Let me take that back. I wanted to say, but I realized during my wedding preparation, my suit, it cost me a fortune.
Oh yeah.
For the two suit, it cost me a fortune.
And let me say, like,
close to 3,000 or 4,000.
Yeah.
For those. Plus,
I believe it.
I changed 2 suits during my wedding and 1 for the following Sunday.
Yeah.
To show up in church. So 3 suits close to 4,000.
I believe it. I believe it. And I mean, and so we do get a lot of guys who, like, around their wedding, they'll come for a custom suit because, again, it's the same. It's your wedding, look your best.
You have to.
But what they love is that, right, like, because of how we make the suits, a lot of guys who either rent for their weddings or, like, maybe go somewhere else and buy a suit, they don't really ever wear that wedding suit again.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like, why'd you just spend all this money, look your best, but you're never going to look your best again?
That's true.
That's true. Whereas, like, for us, like, when we do the wedding suit, we also do it in mind in that, like, if you wanted to, like, let's say your wife got a fancy event, or you're going to church again, right? Like, different church, so they don't know.
No,
because
that is true.
But you can at least wear the suit again, and so you're getting additional value. So even though you're spending a lot of money, which you were going to spend anyway for a wedding suit, at least it's one that you can now add to your wardrobe and keep wearing and still keep looking your best even after your wedding.
You know what you say is like your star, because my wedding suit, it never fit me again.
No,
I wore like once after my wedding, maybe once or twice.
Mm-hmm.
Since then, it's been 4 years now. It doesn't. It's there. I'm just looking at it, but it doesn't fit me anymore.
Exactly.
And I'll think about it. I spend close to 4,000 on those suits, but they don't fit me anymore. And what you're offering to me is just, and I would say it's out of ordinary, because if I can wear something repeatedly in different occasions, I think I would have, if the option was available at that time, I would have taken this option than to spend, because this day and the other day I tried one of my suits on. It ripped apart. The wedding suit. It ripped.
Oh,
like
Charlie.
the back, like that back line.
I'm sorry.
It ripped. And my wife was laughing at me so hard. But
that's not right.
It's not.
If the roles were such, she wouldn't like it.
But that's what I said. Like, I spent all those money and the suit is ripped and they can't fix it because that fabric it doesn't exist. And
whereas, like, for us, right, like, if my client, I made the suit, if they come and they need some slight alterations, that's an easy, like, we've already done the suit, we know the look,
you have the fabric,
we have the fabric, we have their measurements. So it's like, okay, let me call the tailor, right? Like, give us a week, I'll have it fitting just right again. And so it's just like people don't really think about that as much when they go with customs, when they go with like suits off the rack versus like a custom suit.
No, it makes sense, because the price you're offering and all the services that come with it, I think it's really very great. For me, if I'm going to buy, I know that I have an option to call you. It's like, hey, this suit is not fitting. I have gained some weight. Can you open it up?
Come on over.
That to me.
Or, I'll come to you.
That to me, it's something I would take advantage of it any day, anytime, because most of the time I'll buy a suit, I'll wear it. Next month I want to try it on. It doesn't fit anymore. And you try to take it to the tailor, there's like, we can't open it up because there's not enough room there, and you're stuck with this. Like,
what do you do?
What do you do?
And I think the other thing people don't think about is, right, like, we have guys who have different professions, right? So, like, I have a guy who's a newscaster, sits like this all day. He buys a suit. It's always like his suit's always like open in his chest, because they don't account for the fact that, like, my man sits like this when he's at his job. So you actually need to do the measurements in a way that, like, the chest at least, like, has more space, so that's more flat. So that way when he's sitting up, it's not like, and then his arms aren't all bunched. So it's just like when you go to a store, they don't really, like, take the time to really figure out, like, okay, when are you wearing this suit? Like, what occasions? Like, why do you need this suit? And then when you go custom, it's so personal that, like, we get to have that conversation and we get to make those slight details. So that way, you know, whether you are a newscaster or you're a teacher or someone who's always active and like, or you're a motivational speaker, right? Like your hands are always up here, right? Like we can make the suits in a way that also fits like exact purpose you need it for.
Wow. You know, this is funny because sometimes I wear a suit and I can't even lift up. You can lift up your head and you're stuck. You can't even do a lot. You are just there. You just sit. You don't need to. Lord.
It's true though, but which is like, I will say, you know, most suits aren't made for you to like have your hands like this because like whenever are you like normally just having your hands like this?
Yeah.
You know, like so most suits like, and that's the things, right, that we can also coach people on is that like most suits are made that like your hands only like stay here. Right? And so if you are going to be doing more of this, let us know and we can at least make that more comfortable. But again, if you just buy it somewhere else, right, like they're going to make it the standard that like is usually not the standard person, right? Like, and so it just doesn't account for those details. And I think there's also, right, like I used to not know like even how to hang up my suit, right? Like
that one is funny because there are different hanger for suits. It's just
amen. And so you get a hanger for a suit with me, right? Like, but Men's Wearhouse is gonna give you that little plastic hanger. That's you know, it's not gonna keep the quality for long term. You always get different creases in your pants. When like with suit pants, if you fold it up right, you really won't like. You'll always have that front crease. And so it's just like things that we can teach people, right? Like and really help them. Like here's how you best take care of this to really get the full value. That also is to me is like an additional benefit you get with the experience of going with a custom suit.
Okay, it makes sense because I think a lot of people understand the 900 you are charging is not just for a piece of suit.
Exactly.
So it's more of like a full package.
Yeah.
That come with it from these supplies, how you do take care of your suit, all those little logistics that come with wearing your suit.
And I mean, I think of it as like an investment, right? Like you know, like any other investment, you put time and effort and you want it to like give you returns on your investment in the long term. And the way we look is definitely like something that we all invest in, right? It's not just suits, right? Like sneakerheads will buy a few $100 shoes, right? Like, so clothing is a form of investment. And I think a lot of people don't talk about it for like us as young men, especially, you know, black men of color, right? Like no one really gives us like that. Like it's almost surprised when they see you like in a nice suit. Like,
how is that true? Like,
right, where you steal that from, you know? And it's like that's such an awful stereotype. And so for me, it's also the idea of helping people understand that like I'm helping you make an investment, and I'm helping you make a good and a right investment, in one that like you're not gonna look up and be like, dang, I never wore this, or you're not gonna look up and be like, I bought this, but like it doesn't feel right, or I don't look like I made an investment, you know? So it's also the idea of like understanding that this is an investment. And so that's why we're also like investing in you and in this experience in the relationship.
That's really nice. And is it you guys, the junior, I mean, little people, do they also the price a little bit different compared to adult?
We could do a different price for some kids.
For some kids. Okay.
But I will say, I saw some little kids Jordans the other day. They're still like $100.
They're expensive.
So I don't know. I'm just saying, you know.
No, what you say are true, because I will have my son rock some Jordans and stuff, but I think I will try to get him more into exposing him to more suit early on and build his confidence. Until when he grows up, he doesn't feel like, I never.
Yeah, like this isn't me. Like he can definitely see a part of himself, like still in that
still look. Into that look.
But no, if you want to do a kid suit, we'll lower the price for sure, and we'll get it done.
There's always discount. There's always discount, you know. I'm just saying, so don't go ballistic out there thinking that Michael is trying to whip us. But the service is offering. I think it's one of the best I can say, because I do spend quite a bit on suit. Because it's not cheap. They are not, and you try to keep keep up with that. Because I don't wear it every day at work, but every Sunday.
Yeah.
At least I have
At
to
least
stand
Sunday,
out,
yeah.
stand there next to my brother, interpret for him. Like, it's hard, and you feel obligated because every Sunday is on suit, and you are his right hand person who's interpreting for him.
You gotta come correct,
and you also have to, because some people say you are also like him, and you are, and to me it's quite a bit pricey try to keep up with new stuff, but if that's something I can invest into it, why not take advantage of that, especially from a brother that I've known in the African community, that we have grew up together and went to same school, and I think I would love to be part of it, to say, hey, what I'm working here come from that man, and there's the whole story behind it from South and all these things.
Well, you let me know and I got you.
So far, this has been really so great, and for our viewer and listener, if you want, is also on Instagram, Facebook, I believe, Twitter, and also on LinkedIn. So if you want, just as you're looking at the box, you can see that's just the name. You type it, you go there, and you can pick and choose all the design are available there on Instagram and all those social media platforms, and you make your order. And like you said, if you're within the metro area, we can personally deliver this to you, because these are some nice one, and I think I will start making some choice collection here. But Mawukle, thank you so much for giving your time and come and be part of our podcast, and we are really blessed to have you, and thank you to your wife also for allowing you to come
Christina.
here. And
thank you, Christina.
No,
but thank you guys. I'm blessed to be here. I'm blessed to know you guys and to be featured on this platform that you're building. So no, I'm truly honored and I'm excited. I mean, Nyoki podcast, this is,
thank you, the voice for the community.
This is dope. I mean, anything I can do to support, I'm always happy to, and I'm just I'm excited just to see all the cool things that you guys are doing, and the stories that you're bringing to life, and just the voice that you're creating. And I just pray that this thing blows up, and I can say I was on this podcast.
Thank you so much, brother. And we appreciate it. This information will be also posted on the video and on the website, so that people will have access to Flair and Square, because this is some high quality stuff, man. I'm loving this.
Come on.
But I think Uncle Tizu is telling us time is up. Otherwise, we will continue going on. But
it's all good.
Thank you so much.
Part 2.
Yeah,
we'll be back for part 2.
Part 2 with the suit and all these things.
Suited up.
Oh yeah,
photo shoot included.
Oh yes.
No, I appreciate it, guys.
Yeah, thank you so much. This has been really a very helpful session, and thank you. Stay tuned and subscribe more to our channel for more.
Yes, subscribe.
Oh yes.
Oh my